But before we really get into the use of Lego-based interventions or Lego-based activities, I know that when you talk about this, you sort of lay the groundwork by talking about the prevalence of neurodisabilities in the criminal justice system, which I don't think the the practitioners, much less the public, are as aware of they should be with this phenomenon. So, why did you feel that was an essential starting point? And to my contention, what do probation officers, parole officers, corrections officials, and even treatment professionals often miss when it comes to neurodisability not being properly understood?
Yeah, Joe, thanks for having me back, my friend. And how does neurodisability really factor into what we're going to be talking about today? Well, that's kind of how I got started with really digging into the use of Lego building bricks as a skills building tool. And also often I consult on cases involving a client with a neurodevelopmental disorder or a neurodisability. And a lot of times, clients with some of these kind of neuro-based deficits, once they get involved in the justice system, really struggle with traditional interventions because of the fact of executive function impairments, abstract reasoning deficits, learning challenges, comprehension deficits. A lot of times, folks with a neurodisability may lack insight into their own awareness around the fact that maybe they do need a little extra help, extra support, but their brain tells them no, they don't. But in all reality, yes, they do. And when you study neurodisabilities, or whatever term you want to call it, neurodisabilities, sometimes people talk about the term neurodivergence, which is very important to be aware of. If you're working with someone with a neurodisability involved in the justice system, there's many disorders that could fall under that umbrella, like ADHD, FASD, a traumatic brain injury, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. It's a broad, broad term. Every client is different. The client is not their label, so I want to make sure like people know that. But when you're working with folks with some of these neurodisabilities, social communication deficits, very, very common. Learning, attention, memory, cognition related issues, problems with staying organized and using time effectively and planning and all of those things. And if we don't modify our approaches to work with folks with these backgrounds, again, traditional forms of sentencing, management, supervision, probation, court order treatment, a lot of times falls short. And also often these clients end up violating probation, parole because of technical violations. And then it's that revolving door. They're in and out of jail, prison, courts, mental health courts, all that stuff. And that's kind of a big reason why I've been studying Lego-based approaches and puzzle therapy and all these creative interventions. I'm not saying change what we're doing in the criminal justice system, continue to do all the great work all of you are doing, but are there some other interventions that we can incorporate into what we're doing that may help the information you're teaching some clients stick more and help that client retain it more? And that's kind of how Legos fall into that equation, because Legos can be a really good visual 3D teaching tool. And I'll talk about what that means and how I really got into this probably about 5 years now at this point. So, Joe, I can go a lot deeper into that if you want, but that would be a really quick overview.